The Southern Poverty Law Center, they used the fraudulently raised money by lying to their donor network, thousands of Americans, to go ahead and actually pay the leadership of these supposed violent extremist groups. The groups, as the general laid out, include the Ku Klux Klan, the United Klans of America, Unite to Right, National Alliance, the National Socialist Movement, the Aryan Nation Motorcycle Club, and the National Socialist Party of America, and also the American Front.
Just in case you're wondering, a lot is happening. We have a whole list to go through today on so many huge accomplishments that have taken place with this administration, all happening while the media continues to claim the sky is falling. Yeah, it's falling all right on their head. Lawsuits, Brennan on the docket, SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, huge trouble. GITMO's filling up. We're here for the ride at 500,000 plus followers on Rumble. That's our go-to because they believe in free speech there. They've been helping us out and growing. And I tell you what, our videos have been hitting the 500,000 view mark or more just about every video. And we're also hitting that number 2 and number 3 on the leaderboard on Rumble because you keep hitting that like button and putting comments below the videos. And we really appreciate that. We also have our 250-year celebration t-shirts and hats. And our women's 3/4 sleeve V-necks are finally here. And I'm going to show you pictures of Patriots wearing our gear a little bit later on. I'm going to get into this first.
It was quite shocking to me to learn of the egregious violations of the law of the Southern Poverty Law Center was committing. And I think that's a story that should be on the front page of every newspaper in this country because they've obviously been duping their supporters and the American taxpayers for far too long. It's a criminal organization, clearly, and that's not our DOJ saying that or Todd Blanche saying that. That's a grand jury indictment saying that.
So the next NGO, Southern Poverty Law Center. We went over a lot of details of that yesterday. I got a lot more as the Anons out there continue to put information out on these guys. I tell you what, it's not good for them. Justice Department, that indictment against the Southern Poverty Law Center. What another big opening. We're going to show you how the Democrats, politicians defend these guys over the past several months in a moment. They had a National Alliance affiliate paid $1 million plus. Aryan Nations affiliate paid $300,000. Those members of white supremacist and extremist groups, including that's who they paid. They paid the Unite the Right members $270,000 plus. They paid the former National Alliance chairmans $140,000 plus. They paid former KKK members $73,000 plus. An American Front president and felon $19,000 plus. Oh, yeah. So America would be burning if this witch, Kamala, was the president. She spent years hammering Trump with the Charlottesville Fine People hoax. Her own major backer, the Southern Poverty Law Center, funded and planned the entire event, the Charlottesville event. They manufactured the whole crisis so they could use it at key points like this.
Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing anti-Semitic hate. And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side.
Do you guys remember? Do you see how they put this all together? They orchestrate it, they plan it out, then they give the talking points to their fake person who memorizes the lines, and she tries the best to play her act as if she's disgusted by it and she knows it's all set up. All set up. They were secretly funding the Nazi Party of America, according to the indictment. Christopher Rufo put this out. F-30 led the National Socialist Party of America, was the former director of the faction of the Aryan Nations, and a former member of the Ku Klux Klan. The SPLC website contained an extremist file webpage for F-30 from which the SPLC solicited donations. Between 2014 and 16, the SPLC secretly paid F-30 more than $70,000, overlapping the time period in which F-30 was featured on the SPLC's extremist file webpage. Oh, yeah. Brian Cates chimed in. You have to understand what you're watching. Up until last year, our government was working hand in glove with the vile infrastructure to drive extremist groups so the good guys at the DOJ FBI could move in and investigate so they could label, censor, and otherwise large swaths of Americans and keep us divided and at war with each other. Trump and his team are now moving to utterly expose and destroy this awful infrastructure. It's starting with the SPLC. It won't end there. And folks, I've got John Solomon in a moment. He's with Glenn Beck telling us this very thing, that it's just beginning. You're about to watch the exposure of what the government has been in bed with for decades, running entrapment scams on the American people. This is why all the former FBI agents, the former FBI informants, the former CIA agents, the former CIA assets have been furiously making the rounds the past few weeks, attacking our great president and his team at the DOJ, FBI, trying to stop Trump's hostile takeover of their precious organized crime fronts before it was too late. Well, it is too late. Here comes the pain to all the losers. You know, we were told on the Q board, for those that say, I don't really care about the Q board, don't talk about it anymore. Well, I'm going to talk about it because a lot of people want to hear about it. Remember, I've mentioned this before. It's been a while since I said this. But why did the media spend so much time going after Q if it wasn't having such an effect on taking down the deep state and exposing their evil? Why did the politicians all get together? Never agreed on hardly anything, right? But they all got together. I think it was in 2022 or 2020, maybe 2020. It's been, man, so many years now. And they signed something stating that Q was dangerous and that Q and the nons that were sharing this information is bad. And right after they signed all of that, they signed it together. These politicians agreed that Q was bad, because they were getting exposed. Right after that happened, we got taken off of YouTube. They used that as an excuse. We got taken off of Patreon. They said, hey, sorry, we can't help you anymore. We had other groups out there that said, sorry, you're part of the Q thing. That's what you share. So we have to kick you out because the politicians said that you're evil. Just a reminder. Anyway, going back to Q, October 29th, 2017, we were told that the Democrats formed the Confederate States against freeing slaves. They also formed the KKK. Who was HRC's mentor? We were asked about that. You guys remember? Yeah, his name was Larry. I think it was, no, that's not Larry. His last name was Byrd, Senator Byrd. I'm thinking of the basketball player. Anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. What happens if the truth about Haiti's released? Do the Democrats lose majority of the vote? Anyway, then we had another drop, November 6, 2017. Who is HRC's mentor again? Senator Byrd. And what party was he affiliated with? The Democrats. Proof. What party formed the KKK? Well, we know it was the Democrats. And who abolished slavery? Well, it was the Republicans. Why are D's attempting to erase history? More on the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Yeah, Sean, look, money doesn't lie. The charity that supposedly fought the Klan funded the Klan. Mm-hmm. The charity that supposedly fought neo-Nazis funded neo-Nazis.
That's right.
The Southern Poverty Law Center ran a methodical, calculated scheme to defraud their donor base of $3 million and lied to them and used an illicit banking structure system to create shell companies to hide their money and who it was being sent to, specifically for the reason to sow discord and hate into our society. This is the ultimate definition of hypocrisy. And if you look at the indictment produced by the Department of Justice and the FBI, you will see that these banking institutions tie directly the funding mechanisms in which the Southern Poverty Law Center used to fund at least 8 hate groups they supposedly wanted to take out, but they were paying the very villains of our society they supposedly wanted to protect us from. That's the ultimate hypocrisy.
Yep, just go out there and keep telling as many people as you can, even if it's on Fox News, where the people that hang out that'll never listen to podcasts still just keep their Fox rolling over saying they're conservative. Well, just keep going out there and letting them know. Let them know what's going on. They've got to hear it. We got a lot more to cover on this, and the Democrats, how they protected this, SPLC, and the more that is seemingly coming, these NGOs getting exposed one at a time. Hang in there. Well, every time a missile goes off or a bomb explodes, microplastic particles are released into the upper atmosphere and spread throughout the earth, making their way into the air we breathe and the food we eat. Because they're so small, they get absorbed into the bloodstream in our organs, where they build up over time, triggering inflammation and increasing the risk of heart disease, cancer, and even Alzheimer's. But there's something incredible. New research now showing that certain probiotics found only in kimchi can bind these microplastics and help remove them from the body. The results showed that people taking the kimchi-derived probiotic were clearing out nearly twice as many microplastics. And it doesn't stop there. Another study found that a specific strain in kimchi, Bacillus pumilus, can break down BPA, one of the most toxic chemicals in plastic. What that means is your body actually has the ability to get rid of toxins, but only when your gut is balanced and functioning the way it's supposed to. But here's the challenge. Most people aren't eating kimchi consistently enough to get these benefits. That's why Brightcore created Kimchi One, with over 900 plus strains of beneficial bacteria that deliver all the benefits of real kimchi in convenient capsules, no taste, no smell, non-GMO, and 100% made in the USA. Today, you can try Kimchi One by clicking the link below for 25% off your entire order, or for the best deal available, call my friends at Brightcore for up to 50% off plus free shipping. Call now, 888-317-9941. That's 888-317-9941. So, C3 reminded us, once you realize the Democrat Party, Antifa is the military wing, judiciary is the lawfare wing for the Democrats, media is the propaganda wing, ACTBLUE is the laundering wing, right? They get all the money. Remember ACTBLUE? You guys probably want ACTBLUE. Remember that? Remember the folks that were given to Black Lives Matter? They had the fake stuff playing out, and then they all went crazy and started burning down millions of dollars throughout the cities of all these businesses and more because of Floyd and all of that was playing out. And they got all these huge donations to go to Black Lives Matter. Well, the site behind Black Lives Matter was ACTBLUE. And guess what we found out about ACTBLUE? Oh, yeah, they were getting funded by a lot of people that shouldn't have been giving them money. Anyway, SPLC and ADL is the targeting wing. That's the Anti-Defamation League, Southern Poverty Law Center, the targeting wing. And then Hollywood is the indoctrination wing, education also. Soros and the NGO network is the financial wing. It's very simple. Remember, the Democrats formed the KKK. So in December of 2025, not long ago, Democrat Representative Jaya Powell mounts passionate defense of the SPLC, saying it's unfairly targeted by Republicans.
It's quite unprecedented for us to use committee time, valuable committee time, to target a specific group. And based on what I'm hearing, the criticisms of the Southern Poverty Law Center seem to boil down to 3 things. 1, that it has healthy finances and an endowment. 2, that it collaborated with the Department of Justice during the Biden administration. And 3, that it calls out white supremacy, including white Christian nationalism. This is such important work, and yet we're trying to undermine the SPLC simply because it disagrees with far-right policies and shines a spotlight on white supremacist ideology.
Let's spell it out for everyone. Healthy finances and endowment. Oh, yes, they do. Very healthy. It collaborated, but, unhealthy, but healthy in other words. They got a lot of money. It collaborated with the Biden administration. Thank you for telling us that. And it called out white supremacy. Yeah, the very thing that they created. And so John Solomon went over to, Glenn Beck's channel. And Glenn Beck was having a conversation about the future. SPLC, are they the only ones?
It's coming.
Yeah, I think we're about to enter into, and we have MAGA, we have MAHA, we have all these great acronyms. I think we're about to enter into a period of MAAA, Make America Accountable Again. I think with Pam Bondi moved aside, the speed at which the Justice Department will move on things that have been working in the system for months is picking up. And so there'll be more nonprofits that were doing things that probably are not allowed under the tax code. If you incorporate yourself to say, we want a tax exemption because we're going to do public good, and you obstruct law enforcement proceedings on the streets of Minnesota or somewhere else, you're probably in danger of having committed fraud. So I would look and see, I'm watching, I think there'll be more indictments in the nonprofit realm. Then we're looking at those who may have given false testimony or obstructed Congress. We know John Brennan was referred for that. James Comey was targeted for that. I think those are on the table right now. Then those who may have gone and gotten phone records and pierced the privacy of individuals, they're next in line. So this line keeps moving. And then I think in the summer and fall, we're going to talk a lot more about a case called Operation Round River. It may be the most troubling of the four.
Oh my gosh.
Round River. Just remember that name. What we believe it is. Yeah. So it falls between Crossfire Hurricane and then Plasmic Echo and Arctic Frost. Plasmic Echo and Arctic Frost are sort of the things that evolve into Jack Smith's investigations. The classified documents is Plasmic Echo. Arctic Frost is the idea. Years later, we're going to go back and charge President Trump with a conspiracy because he and his people wanted to have alternate electors. Now, it's important in that Arctic Frost, which there was a great hearing on yesterday, 2 times in history before this, presidential candidates did submit alternate electors to Congress. 1960, John Kennedy. 1876, Sam Tilden. Neither time were those considered criminal acts. But in Donald Trump's world, he's considered a criminal for doing the third time. That's what Arctic Frost is. But between that, when Russia collusion and Crossfire Hurricane was ending, the FBI opened up a new investigation called Round River. And its goal was to neutralize anyone who would dare suggest that there was a corrupt relationship between Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, and the Ukrainian government or the Ukrainian company Burisma, and to treat people who talked about it with certain speech parameters as national security threats. And I'm working hard to get those files declassified. And I think that's going to be the most troubling because I believe if what we're being told is true, and I want to check it until we get it there may have been speech parameters as the reason you were targeted. If you said something, you might have been assessed a security threat as a security threat by the FBI. That would be very troubling. I've seen some evidence in court filings in the last few days that entire law firms had their client records taken secretly under this investigation or spin-offs from it. You're supposed to have some privacy when you have a relationship with you and your lawyer. So we'll see where that leads. But all the people I've talked to in government think that Round River may be the most jaw-dropping of the 4 codename investigations that targeted Donald Trump and his followers.
Round River. Here it comes. John Solomon. Remember, guys, if you haven't been around for a while, if you're new, John Solomon was actually approached, and he said that he was approached by some very interesting individuals that said, you know what, we need you to start getting information out for us. Oh, he's been doing a great job. Great job. Just real quick, I want to show you this clip of Macy Gunnell. Pretty cool.
So the whole SPLC thing is absolutely crazy, obviously. Not only does it make you question the legitimacy of every single political movement or rally we've ever seen on either side, but it also makes you question the legitimacy of every other group just like it, okay? I think there has to be immediate investigations into the ACLU, into the NAACP, into the Human Rights Campaign. Every single left-wing group out there, we already know BLM is freaking crazy, but them too. Every single left-wing advocacy group out there, we need to see where their money is going. Not only for our clarity as conservatives, but also for the clarity of these groups and their donors.
And she was an intern at the White House. She's been on Fox News and other places. Thought that was pretty cool. Santa Trump put this out, and I thought, man, this is so good. Santa Trump. If you think nothing is happening, better think again. I had a song played with this, and I'll just read some of them, and I have to fast forward a little bit on some of this. But don't allow anyone to tell you we're losing while the list keeps growing. Epstein blackmail op, the Diddy blackmail op, Weinstein Op, the Podesta, Nexium, John of God, Peter Nygaard, Canadian Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, Benjamin D. Rothschild, Evelyn Rothschild, Jacob Rothschild. Keep going down the list of the Rothschilds, Nathaniel and David Rockefeller, and the Henry Kissinger, Queen Elizabeth II, Prince Philip, Constantine, these Cheney dynasty, the McCain dynasty, the Bush dynasty, all going away, all exposed. And then we had the 3 Supreme Court of the United States picks, 300 judges from President Trump. Roe v. Wade was overturned, remember? Constitutional carry protected. Religious freedom was secured. Affirmative action overturned. Climate change agenda halted. West Virginia versus EPA. Cleaner and safer streets. Federal power weakened. Trump accounts creating generational wealth. Remember that? American children from 70 plus vaccines to 11. Trump's announced the ban on institutional investors from buying more single-family homes. The United States left 66 total organizations, 35 non-UN, 31 UN organizations that push these Earth agendas. Yeah, he left 66 of them. Revamping the FDA GRAS standards to get 10,000 plus poisonous chemicals out of our food. The EPA's landmark 2009 finding on greenhouse gases harmful effect on the climate repealed, withdrew from the WHO, we withdrew from the pandemic treaty, we ended all funding for the Cooperation for Public Broadcasting, ended flu vaccine mandates in the military, adrenochrome was exposed, affirmative action ended, American spirit reignited, big pharma exposed, big tech exposed, biolabs exposed, Black Lives Matter exposed, British Empire exposed, chemtrails, child trafficking exposed, DEI ended, elections exposed. We had Epstein files, Epstein survivors exposed, Eric Swalwell hooker tape exposed, George Soros roles exposed and taken out of multiple states. Fake influencers have been exposed. Food exposed. FTX was exposed. George Soros exposed. Georgia Guidestones. Remember? Destroyed. Human trafficking arrests. JFK files. Massive amounts of resignations. Minnesota fraud exposed. MLK files. Muslim Brotherhood exposed. MSN mocking Bird exposed. Remember the media. The nationwide fraud exposed. New World Order agenda exposed. Obama manufactured intel exposed. People worldwide are waking up every day. Planned Parenthood being dismantled. Schools exposed. Social Security fraud exposed. Southern Poverty Law Center exposed. Paid for the KKK. Swalwell's gone. Twitter takeover. Truth Social. Rumble. Vaccines exposed. Warmongers exposed. We are the news now. Can I get an amen? Wow. Good stuff. Thank you for posting that from a TikTok account out there. And if that wasn't enough, we got a lot more. Santa Surfing showing us all the things that are going on out there. That's quite a list, and I can't wait to get to that in a moment. But first, I just want to remind you, we've got new gear on amweknow.com and shop.amweknow.com. I've showed you this quite a bit, and I haven't been to our website in a long time. I used to show it every video, but, just kind of skipping around. We've got a new website in the works. But I just want to remind you that you can hit that contact button I'm showing you now. When you hit the contact button on amweknow.com, it'll take you to this, contact us. You put your name, your email, and you hit send a photo. We'd love to receive a photo from you wearing gear. Now, that's specifically to send a photo, not to send me a note or tell me what you found in the news or whatever. Please just send us photos. We are out of photos now of people wearing gear. We'd love to get more of those. And then when you scroll down, you'll notice we have all of our videos there. We have our And We Know merch on the bottom right here, or the middle right, pretty much. And you click on that, and you'll go over to our gear. Amazing stuff that we have for you folks. The women's 3/4 sleeve V-necks are finally here also. And when you wear this gear, hopefully somebody will walk up and say, hey, I watched that show too, and you got a new friend. Here's more great pictures of Patriots wearing our gear. So, Santa Surfing put this out. Things that happened since yesterday. Actually, 2 days ago now. Q-proof again, the mother of all bombs incoming. Sheila Sherfilis McCormick resigned, facing 53 years for criminal indictment. Devin Nunes departed Trump media to focus on intel oversight role. Who knows more about Russiagate than Devin Nunes? 11-count indictment against the Southern Poverty Law Center. Yeah, charges include wire fraud, false statements to a federally insured bank, conspiracy to commit concealment, money laundering. Wow. Gitmo's trending again. Ilhan Omar is on James Comer's radar. Comer, she betrayed America, he said. ACTBLUE sued by Paxton out of Texas. ACTBLUE allowed fraudulent and foreign donations. We've known that for years. White House correspondent dinner is on April 25th, 2026. And President and Melania Trump, they're going to be there. Trump family members are going. The FCC chair, Brendan Carr, to attend. Carr determines who gets their news broadcast license renewed. Laura Trump says Trump will roast them. I'm looking forward to that one, boy. President Melania Trump has several defamation lawsuits against fake news. Truth Social has defamation lawsuit on several media outlets. Kash Patel has defamation lawsuit on The Atlantic. Popcorn and memes ready. Surfboards on the ready. And April 21st, 2018, what's really interesting was we were told fire up those memes, stand by, on the clock, ready to play. It's coming. Melania Trump's lawsuits, Daily Mail, remember? That one's out there. The 2016 defamation suit over false escort allegations settled with damages and apology, reported $2.9 million. Wow. President Trump's lawsuits, notable filed cases. CNN 2022 defamation suit, $475 million over use of the big lie and related coverage. ABC News and George Slopadopoulos 2024 defamation suit over comments on E. Jean Carroll verdict. Settled ABC to pay $15 million to Trump's Presidential Library Foundation. Plus $1 million in legal fees. CBS News, Paramount Global over 60 minutes Kamala Harris interview edits. Remember editing that? 2024 suit sought $10 to $20 billion, settled for $16 million. Des Moines Register and pollster Ann Selzer suit over 2024 Iowa poll alleging fraud election interference. Refiled ongoing elements. The Wall Street Journal, Dow Jones, News Corp, Rupert Murdoch reporters 2025 defamation suit. $10 to $20 billion over Epstein-related reporting. Dismissed as of 2026. The New York Times, remember? They had the 2025 defamation suit. $15 billion initially dismissed, amended version filed. And the BBC News, 2025 defamation suit. $10 billion over editing of a January 6th speech documentary. Ongoing as of early as 2026. All of this playing out day after day. And also, President Trump had a truth post, a video of Laura Ingraham announcing that the FBI has launched a criminal investigation of John Brennan and James Comey with the timestamp of 11:49 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 23:49 military time. The 23:49 has an image named Red October Submarine. And it says this at the beginning. And so it begins. How do you start a war? Markers matter. Playbook fail. President Trump also posted a video of a young lady talking about Iran and all the things that were playing out there. And just to tell you, as she's talking, this was before this announcement came out, that we got this announcement from President Trump. Very good news. I've been informed that the 8 women protesters who were going to be executed in Iran will no longer be killed. 4 will be released immediately and 4 will be sentenced to 1 month in prison. I very much appreciate that Iran and its leaders respected my request as President of the United States and terminated the planned execution. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And that's great news. This was a clip prior to that announcement.
Donald Trump is the only one helping these people in Iran. So Elizabeth Banks, this woman, Bita, is about to be gang raped and publicly executed. And so are 3 more women. And they have been doing this to many young people. Every single day, 1 or 2 public executions. So you're sitting there on your cushy couch talking about Kamala Harris. You claim to be a feminist. You claim to be a humanitarian. Where are you when the women need you? You're a fake. You are a hypocrite. You're of no help to anyone. So if you claim to be a feminist, you claim to be a humanitarian, you claim to be a good person, America, Iran isn't just a military war or peace in the Middle East or oil stabilization. This is a humanitarian issue. They are killing young people every single day. And the only president, the only one that has helped is President Trump.
He posted that clip for everybody to see on Truth Social. And when did he post it? That's what we do. We look at the time. DC Lidstone saw that 23:52 Eastern Standard Time is what time it was posted. And that comes from the Q board. We go straight there and we say, why does President Trump post it at that time? He wants us to read the board. Boom, 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 boom. Now comes the pain. Now comes the real truth. They want you divided by race, divided by a religion, culture, class, political affiliation. Divided, you are weak. Together, you're strong. This movement challenges their forced narrative. This movement challenges people to not simply trust what is being reported. Research for yourself. Think for yourself. Trust yourself. And I would say trust the Lord when he gives you guidance. This movement is not about one person or a group of people. We the people save the republic. Hatred and dissension in the nation will heal. Where we go one, we go all. Thank you, President Trump, for the great news of rescuing these beautiful young women. President Trump also posted, you can't compromise on sanity and common sense. He wanted to make sure he posted that at 1454, a simple statement. Yet you go and read the Q board at 1454, and it tells us EU sanctions Iran. Leaders of EU only care about protecting flow of money, not the safety and security of their people in the world. And I'm going to state this, folks. I don't know if it's true or not, but I was seeing a lot of news reports and a lot of people spreading this throughout the social media world. So I'm just telling you what people are saying. That doesn't mean it's true or not, because I haven't heard it from the source, right? From the public affairs or the media department for President Trump, the White House, or from the Pentagon. But we're getting sources are telling people that there are European Union nations that are giving information to Iran and letting them know where the American ships are and where our military is so that they can go around them, sneak around them, and more. Okay? That's what we're up against. So the leaders of EU only care about protecting the flow of money, not the safety and security of their people in the world. This was given to us in 2018 of June. They're still up to it, folks. Do you think they changed? I don't think so. Iran deal orchestrated for the sole purpose of lifting sanctions blockade to allow access of foreign businesses for individual and co-wide enrichment. It's a scam. Nothing to do with nukes. It's a cover. Hussein pallets of cash. Remember? Sent all that money. Hussein's secret authorization to convert the U.S. dollar. More coming. No mainstream media coverage. You got your popcorn, so President Trump wanted to make sure we knew. And that's why he posted that at 1454. You can't compromise on sanity and common sense. It all comes together in a perfect way. You know, there's a lot more that happened with RFK Jr. when he faced these satanic and evil politicians. Evil. Remember, we were told many of these politicians worship the devil. They worship Satan. And he has to sit there amongst these demonic possessed people and take it from them. But he's been pushing back, and I'm going to show you all that in a moment. New Spring Wellness Center. Your all-natural one-stop shop for optimal brain health and overall wellness. They're out of Osage Beach, Lake of the Ozarks. Folks, I've been there twice now. You can reach out to Chad and Katie Burrow for support. Are you a loved one or a loved one struggling with addiction? At New Spring Wellness Center, they offer a proven outpatient program that addresses addiction recovery like no other. Their brain restoration program is designed to restore your health, eliminate cravings, and help you achieve lasting recovery. Folks, I have witnessed it for myself. The changes in people who had addictions. They have faith-based support, IV therapy. They have prayer and so much more. John N. said he had alcohol and brain fog. He said, I came to New Spring Wellness for alcohol and brain fog, something I've struggled with for over 30 years. I tried AA before, but this treatment was unique, different than anything else, and it offered a better outcome for me. My head feels so much clearer. My faith has deepened. I've made new friendships, and I have no desire for alcohol, completely different than just 2 weeks ago. Around day 5, I started to feel a real change. There's truly no comparison. I feel renewed. The people here are friendly, professional, and knowledgeable. The patient care is excellent. I'd absolutely recommend this to anyone. Amber was addicted to Xanax for 15 years before coming to New Spring Wellness. Tried the inpatient and outpatient programs, counseling, AA. I came to New Spring to ease withdrawal symptoms in a stress-free environment and to begin repairing my neural pathways. A family member who works in recovery told me about it. Almost instantly, my withdrawal symptoms eased, and I finally had time to focus on myself, surrounded by caring individuals. The emotional support and brain restoration formula made a real difference. By days 2 to 4, I had more energy and better focus. Folks, I've talked to people there, prayed with folks that have come through this program. It will change your life. Go in the description box below and click on that link to change your life or others forever.
In my agency, we had 80 people assigned to do program integrity and fraud detection over 50 states and 6 territories. It wasn't enough. The Biden administration came in and fired all but 6 of them. My predecessor, Mr. Becerra, told his staff, we don't do program integrity. We should focus on enrollments. And that's what happens. And so now you've got all of these problems. And I'll give you one example. The hospices in Los Angeles. We've shut down 500 of them. We have not gotten one call from a congressperson or one call from a patient. Why? Because those hospices did not exist. Right. They were signing up patients. They were getting patient IDs, signing them up, and charging us $6,000 a month for that patient. How did we detect them all? Because the patients never died.
Patients never died. They're signing them up and getting $6,000 a patient. He's like, man, how did we know that they were not real patients? How did we know? Oh yeah, they weren't dying. Hospices in Los Angeles, 500 of them shut down. You guys realize the amount of money that people were making out there? Do you realize? You'd think, when I was in government, guys, when I worked in government service, I worked in the Marine Corps. I was in government service for almost 7, 8 years? No, excuse me, longer than that. How long was I in government service? Oh man, I had to think about it. 9 years. And it was interesting to everything we did. They watched every single penny, everything, that we spent. They had to make sure that it was taken care of. We'd have meetings. They'd go through. They'd say, how much do you want to spend? Well, this is what I need allotted for this quarter. And we'd go through it. Hey, you haven't spent all your money for this quarter. Okay, well, we need to get new camera gear for this. We need to get video equipment because I worked in public affairs and we did some television stuff and what have you. Anyway, just telling you, in my world, it's like, man, we were scared to death to do anything illegal. These guys were just getting together and saying, hey, I got a deal for you. What do you got, bud? Oh, I got one for you too. Next thing you know, they got 500 open and they're collecting $6,000 for patients that aren't even there. And they weren't dying because they weren't there. And then they're trying to force us, these same people, these evil folks that put these scams together. They say, hey, you need to make sure that you put all of these chemicals in your baby's body. Listen to this guy.
I bet you every single one of you guys would call me crazy if I told you I was going to bring this little guy here up the road to my buddy in a white butcher coat, and he was going to inject him with formaldehyde, antifreeze, mercury, aluminum, monkey kidney cells, fetal bovine serum, and some DNA fragments from an aborted fetus in 1966. But somehow, magically, if that man in the white butcher coat was called a doctor, and that trip up the road was called a wellness visit, and those injections were called vaccines, somehow I'm only crazy if I don't inject him. Make that make sense.
Make it make sense. Remember, if you look at the ingredients, a lot of these, some of these that they were thrown into babies. Guys, would you take formaldehyde and put it into your child? No. Antifreeze? Nope. Aluminum? Nope. Monkey kidney? No, you wouldn't do that. Human DNA? Nope, you wouldn't do that either. But boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy, if you start looking at those ingredients. Remember when COVID happened and they were slamming the vaccines and telling people, you have to take this. And remember, they go to the pharmacy and ask them, can I see the ingredients? And they'd open it up and it was empty. This paperwork. Empty. Nothing in there. They wouldn't tell us what was in there. Yeah. Here's RFK Jr. having to deal with this even more.
I went back to look at statements you've made, I don't know, over the last 10 years or so on vaccines as well. I have a list of them where there was a lot of misinformation predating
Tell me
this.
a piece of information that I ever promoted about vaccines. Tell me one piece of information.
Mr. Secretary, again, if I could continue.
Well, tell me one piece of misinformation. You said I've promoted misinformation.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I'll get there. So, Mr. Secretary, the history shows that you were pushing vaccine misinformation predating your tenure.
Tell me one instance.
Secretary,
Tell me one statement.
I just shared that, Mr. Secretary.
One statement.
So now, during your leadership at HHS, measles, a disease once eliminated in the United States, is on the rise in over 1,700 Americans, as you're aware. You've been asked by colleagues as well where, kids died last year as a result.
Can I answer the question?
Vaccine. I don't have a question yet, Mr. Secretary.
You're making misstatements.
At a previous year.
Making misstatements. This Mr. Lujan, L-U-J, J with the little hyphen and A and little asterisk above the. Anyway. He's reading his talking points. RFK Jr.'s not reading his. He's got it all. He's got it all figured out. You guys remember when President Trump posted this? Remember he posted this? They're all poison. This was September of 2025. All these jabs. There you go. For those listening, this guy's putting the little scientist putting little vials in there. David Gear.
Show him the thimerosal bomb.
They're on the thermosol. Here it is, the thermosol bomb.
Show him the thimerosal bomb.
The thimerosal.
Which we keep in a metal container because we're a little afraid of it, and it's a very fine powder.
This is thimerosal.
Thimerosal.
Which is labeled very toxic. Has cumulative effects, can cause damage to the kidneys, to the respiratory system, skin, to the nervous system. Specifically warns on here that it can cause reproductive and developmental toxicity, meaning that it can cause things like autism and other neurodevelopmental disorders. This is immensely toxic stuff.
And it's in vaccine.
And this is what's in the vaccine.
It's important to realize we're talking about a whole range of products. Vaccines are a big one because, of course, you're directly injecting it. For example, this is tetanus vaccine. This one expires. It's a little outdated now. In 2007, here's the thimerosal. 1 to 10,000 is a preservative. Perhaps the biggest one in the U.S., at least, that's for exposure to mercury is the influenza vaccine.
Oh.
Influenza vaccine is now recommended for all pregnant women, all infants, all children on a yearly basis.
Remember, we were just told you don't have to take that anymore if you're in the military. Wow. Why do they have to, President Trump puts this out. Hopefully they're working on this and they're going to stop this mess.
You have last year's influenza? Understand that thimerosal is not added at the end. It's not like, well, that factory next year can make thimerosal free. Thimerosal, you either have to have a thimerosal free factory or you have to not have one. They add thimerosal at each step because the factory is not clean and not sterile. So you either have to have an expensive sterile factory where you don't need thimerosal, or you have to have one that produces thimerosal. It's going to need thimerosal or something the whole time. It needs to be stopped.
This is the influenza vaccine from Adventist Pasteur, their flu zone. Thimerosal, 25 micrograms of mercury per dose.
There it is.
I'd like to point out that a lot of people didn't know, and I'm one of them. I've given 2,000 RhoGAM shots. I've been in vaccines for 35 years. I didn't know that RhoGAM had thimerosal in it.
Didn't know. Folks, just line up, just sheep. We just line up. We're like, I don't know. What do you think? I think I'm just going to go get another shot. Why? Oh, they told me to. Ron Johnson dropped the hammer. They hid the myocarditis.
Finally, let's just put up this graph. Because of your radical transparency, I've got close to 11 million pages. We uncovered they hid the signal on myocarditis. We also just recently uncovered that they also hit a signal on ischemic stroke for people over 65, the tail end 2022, 2023. They hid both signals. They downplayed them. But what is most alarming, and we'll be holding a hearing on this next week, I've got a draft report. They were made aware, Peter Marks was made aware on March 26th of 2021 that the inventors of the algorithm that analyzes the VAERS data was going to mask adverse events. He was told that by using a different system, they had uncovered 49 examples of extreme masking, 25 significant adverse events, including sudden cardiac death, Bell's palsy, pulmonary infarction. So this report will be issued in conjunction with that hearing. Again, I didn't need a sophisticated mathematical model to tell me that we had safety signals screaming at us. This chart shows the deaths associated with vaccines all the way going back to 1990 when VAERS started, a couple hundred a year. Anaphylactic shock, that type of thing. 2021, over 20,000 deaths, and for 5 years, FDA has been saying, we don't see a signal. This was a signal screaming at us that to this very day, we are covering up. So there are a bunch of people involved in this cover-up that still continue to work within the HHS, CDC, FDA. I want your commitment that those people will be made available for interviews. I'll have to subpoena others. I'm going to dig into this massive government.
You have my commitment.
Thank you.
You have my commitment. Exposure playing out one day at a time. Just for good measure, I wanted to get this quick one out about old Warnock. This guy got in by an election that was rigged. He has no idea what he's doing. He's reading his talking points, and RFK Jr. sets him straight, too.
Gutting the very offices that keep American families safe from disturbing and deadly infectious diseases.
Senator,
sir, hold on, sir.
Senator, there's 1 to 3 rabies cases a year in the United States. I think one person manning that office full time probably can handle that traffic.
He's going after him for rabies. You're shutting down people's jobs. RFK Jr. doesn't have to. I don't know. I don't think he looked at his notes. It looks like to me like he's just staring right at him. He's like, hey. We got 1 to 3 rabies cases per year. One person manning that office can handle the traffic. One person. They shouldn't have one person manning the traffic for that. One person should be working on multiple things, and that should be one of them. And this guy's like, Warnock's like, you're not. You're firing people. They need jobs, even if they don't do anything all day but play on their computer. Didn't work well for him, did it? So, we get back to Virginia, shall we? We talked about it yesterday, the rigged election taking place in the great Commonwealth of Virginia. This is what President Trump put out. He even chimed in. All day long, Republicans were winning. The spirit was unbelievable until the very end when, of course, there was a massive mail-in ballot drop. Where have I heard that before? And the Democrats eked out another crooked victory. 6-5 goes to 10-1. And yet the presidential election in November was very close to a 50-50 split. In addition to everything else, the language on the referendum was purposely unintelligible and deceptive. As everyone knows, I am an extraordinarily brilliant person, and even I had no idea what they were talking about in the referendum, and neither do they. Let's see if the courts will fix this travesty of justice. Went from no to 54%, remember, and then it just flipped. Well, something happened.
But first, breaking tonight, a circuit court in Virginia ruled a short time ago, within the past 2 hours, that the redistricting referendum passed by voters yesterday is unconstitutional. The judge is now blocking certification of the election and denying a motion to stay pending appeal. Virginia's Democratic Attorney General responding by posting that he plans to appeal that. Correspondent Mark Meredith has all the details tonight, live from Alexandria. Good evening, Mark.
Brett, good evening to you. Plenty of new drama here in the Commonwealth tonight. Republicans are challenging the legality of yesterday's ballot measure. They have asked a judge to throw out the case, essentially to wait for it to happen. An injunction was issued. The judge agreeing. Democrats, as you mentioned, say they are going to appeal, that there's no merit to this case, that they believe this is an attempt to override the will of the voters. Either way, Brett, this is creating a lot more chaos ahead of November's midterms.
Donald Trump and Republicans launch this gerrymandering war. We're going to finish it.
Tonight, Democrats are claiming victory after Virginia voters narrowly approved a referendum giving state lawmakers power to redraw congressional maps this year, likely shrinking Republican representation from 5 House districts to 1.
It's a hyper-partisan gerrymandering boondoggle.
Critics accuse Virginia's Democratic governor, Abigail Spanberger, of flip-flopping after previously calling gerrymandering detrimental to democracy. She says it's now justified after Texas redrew its maps.
We want to respond to what we see other states doing at the request of this president.
Republicans say the fight's not over. The state Supreme Court has yet to rule if the referendum was legal to begin with.
You know, it's interesting. Why won't Fox show us what happened? How just in the matter of 5 minutes, 40,000 dumped ballots in so that they could get what they needed to gerrymander. Why would they talk about it? They just want to give us, oh, this is what the Democrats say. This is what the Republicans say. This is what the Democrats say. This is what the Supreme Court's probably going to say. This is what the Democrats say. You know, that's just so back and forth like a tennis match, and you're just confused. How about just telling us the truth? Guys, did you see what happened last night? This many ballots, there's no way that they can dump that many ballots in 45 minutes to switch like they did. President Trump put that information out. We looked into it as reporters, and we're going to tell you what we saw on the screen. No, they want to continue to play tennis with our brains. While this is happening, there's one sure thing that is playing out before our very eyes, and that is silver has been pretty amazing. I don't know if you guys have been following it, but we have. And lives have changed because they brought over their IRAs into silver. And if you did this when it was about a month ago, it was $65. It's up to $77, $75, $77, fluctuating in that area near 80. You're doing pretty well. But if you started at $20 a few years ago, 2-3 years ago, you're doing really good. I just want to remind you, we dropped a video last Saturday, Dr. Kirk Elliott. And we know .com/gold. You can reach out to him. Your life will change. You'll get into silver and you'll just watch. Life will be so wonderful. Hope you guys reach out to him in the description box below. I wanted to show you also, not a single Michigan Democrat in the House Judiciary Committee voted for a bill which would ban sex offenders from working near child care facilities. Yeah. Why do Democrats do that? Why do they love sex offenders? Do they want them to be near child care facilities? Why can't they just simply say, I agree with the Republicans on this? No, it's just one thing after another showing how evil they are. Now, I'm going to show you CNBC actually doing their job and confronting, Pocahontas.
I did want to ask you, Senator Warren, about something else that happened last weekend, which is you campaigned with Graham Plattner, who is ahead of that state's very pivotal Democratic primary. And I wanted to ask you about something you said. You said he's your kind of man. And I've interviewed you for a long time and watched your hearings and listened to your questions. You care about character. This is a guy that had a chest tattoo with a Nazi symbol. Okay, he apologized for it. It's a guy that reportedly wrote that people concerned about rape should take some responsibility for themselves and not get so effed up that they wind up having sex with someone they don't mean to. He praised military tactics used by Hamas, reportedly, in comments online and Reddit when they were murdering Israeli soldiers. So I'm just curious why you think he's your kind of man.
So, as you rightly point out, he has apologized.
He's apologized. A long list of evil. And you're out there campaigning with this freak. This evil man. Well, he apologized. Let's see. There's people out there on the right that apologize for things. Nope. Attack, get rid of them. But boy, one of their folks does something. Oh, he apologized. He's fine. Doesn't matter how evil he is. Then you head over to California, another convicted pedo set to be released. Elderly parole law has been reversed by the California Board of Parole and will remain in prison for now. Israel Seha raped and impregnated an 11-year-old girl. Newsom and the Democrats want to set him free. We're up against evil day in and day out. Day in and day out. And it's important for all of us to realize that we have to stay in prayer and really fight for this nation. Prayer and getting involved where we can. So while all this is playing out, there's a reminder. Thank you, Irish Patriot, for this. They're not targeting me, President Trump. They're targeting you. And he's simply in the way. Let's not forget this.
They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. It's very simple. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. They want you silent. And I am the only one that can save this nation because you know they're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way, and I will never be moving. On November 5th, 2024, justice will be done. We will take back our country, and we will make America great again. Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you very much. Great job. They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. It's very simple. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. They
never, ever give up. Ever. We've been going through this information today. I think it was really important that we actually saw, thanks to many of the folks out there working hard to get this information out, all the positive things that have played out before our very eyes. All the things that have happened since President Trump entered office. So sometimes, if you think you forget, just mark this video and come back and watch it and say, I need to go back through this again and find out how many things have actually been playing out in a positive way. I need to find out what's being worked on now. And I need to know what's probably going to happen in the future because we got the Q board to kind of remind us. It's very important. And through all of this, remember to fire up those memes. Stand by on the dock, on the clock, ready to play. We have the mother of all bombs incoming. Q.
For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you again. So grateful for you and for all that you continue to do in and through us and through many of the leaders that you placed to guide and direct and destroy this enemy. It's amazing to watch many, many people come before your throne again and return to you. Many that were backsliding, those that have never even bothered to read a Bible are reading it now, realizing more and more what a mighty God we serve. We ask that your will would be done on this earth as it is in heaven. We know that all the things that are playing out are under your control. And we are watching one of the greatest dismantling of evil in history. We ask for the protection of many that are out in the front lines, many of those that are exposing this evil, many of those that are going into witness protection program that are supposedly gone, and more. We know that you see it all, you hear it all, and most of all, protecting all of our children who have been targeted for so long by these Satanists and the evil that they have done. Oh, Heavenly Father, how we need you so badly. Without you, we can do nothing. So we come before your throne. We ask for help. How we deal with our neighbors, our friends, and more. We also ask for your help as we read your word to continue to speak to us through the word of God. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Folks, thank you for all of your support, your prayers, and more. What an amazing week this has been. We've got a lot more going on this weekend. Thank you for your prayers for our own family. So we're all getting back together again in this next week. For now, this is LT Semper Fi with Them We Know. Signing out.
By lying to their donor network, thousands of Americans, to go ahead and actually pay the leadership of these supposed violent extremist groups. The groups, as the general laid out, include the Ku Klux Klan, the United Klans of America, Unite to Right, National Alliance, the National Socialist Movement, the Aryan Nation Motorcycle Club, and the National Socialist Party of America, and also the American Front.